All right, let's dive into one of the most incredible molecules in the entire universe, the very thing that literally makes you you. Today, we're unpacking DNA. Think of it as the ultimate blueprint for life. So let me ask you something. What if I told you that tucked away inside every part of you, there's a microscopic, unbelievably detailed instruction manual, one that has every single step for building and running your entire body? Well, that manual is real, and we're about to crack it open. Now, the official name is a bit of a mouthful: deoxyribonucleic acid. Yeah, that's why we just call it DNA. It's the genetic material in basically every living thing, and it holds the master plan for, well, everything, from how we grow to how we function day to day. The best way to think about it is exactly like this. DNA is your body's personal biological instruction manual. Every single rule, every part, every process, it's all written down right there in its code. Okay, so if this is a manual, where do you keep it? To find out, we need to take a little journey inward, into what you can imagine as the cell's central library. So imagine we could shrink down, way, way down, and travel inside your body. We could pretty much pick any one of the trillions of cells you're made of. Doesn't matter if it's a skin cell, a muscle cell, a brain cell, almost every single one has a complete copy of that manual. Once we're inside a cell, we head for its very core, the control center of the whole operation. It's a place called the nucleus. You can think of it like a secure vault where all the most important information is kept safe. And inside that nucleus, that's where we find them. 46 incredibly compact, tightly packed structures called chromosomes. Now, if the nucleus is the library, then these chromosomes, they're the bookshelves holding all the instruction manuals. 46. For humans, that's the number. In pretty much every cell in your body, you've got 46 of these chromosomes, and they're organized into 23 pairs. And here's the cool part. You get one set of 23 from one parent and the other set of 23 from your other parent. They combine to create your totally unique blueprint. So we found the bookshelves. Now let's pull one of those books off the shelf and take a closer look. What exactly is a chromosome made of anyway? It turns out each chromosome is really just one super, super long molecule of DNA. It's coiled up with incredible efficiency just so it can fit inside the tiny nucleus. Get this, if you were to uncoil all the DNA in just one of your cells, it would stretch out to be about 6 feet long. DNA has that famous shape you've probably seen before, the double helix. And you know what? It really does look just like a twisted ladder. The two long sides are the backbone, giving it structure. But the really important parts, the parts that carry all the information, are the rungs connecting them. And those rungs, well, they form a language, a code. To understand the instructions written in our manual, we have to learn how to read this very unique 4-letter genetic alphabet. What's wild is that this alphabet is so simple. It's made of just 4 chemical bases that act as letters: adenine, thymine, cytosine, and guanine. We just call them A, T, C, and G for short. And that's it. Just 4 letters are used to write the entire complex story of you. Now, these letters don't just line up in any old way. Nope, they follow one very specific, very important rule. Adenine, or A, always pairs up with thymine, T, to form a rung on our ladder. And cytosine, C, always pairs up with guanine, G. A with T, C with G, every single time. And that strict pairing rule, that's the whole key. The specific sequence of these pairs, these ATs and CGs, stretching for billions and billions of rungs, that is what forms the genetic code. This is the language of life's instruction manual. Okay, so we've got an alphabet and we've got a code, but what do the actual sentences, the instructions themselves, look like? Well, these are called genes, and you can think of them as the individual recipes in your body's giant cookbook. So, a gene is just a specific section of your DNA. It's like one complete recipe that tells the cell how to build one specific thing, which is usually a protein. And proteins are the tiny little machines that do pretty much all the heavy lifting in your body. And it's these proteins, built from the recipes in your genes, that determine your traits. There's a set of genes that holds the recipe for your eye color, another for your hair color. Genes guide your height, and they manage countless other functions that keep your body running smoothly. It's amazing. Tiny variations in these recipes are what make us all different. Okay, let's zoom back out for a second and look at the big picture. We've gone from a giant organism all the way down to a single letter of the genetic code. So why does this tiny little molecule matter so much? Well, at the end of the day, DNA has three absolutely critical jobs to do. First, it has to safely store that entire manual of genetic information. Second, it has to be able to copy itself perfectly so every new cell gets a complete set of instructions. And third, it has to be able to pass that information on to the next generation. That's how traits get inherited. It is just amazing to think that for most of human history, this elegant system was a complete mystery. It wasn't until 1953 that two scientists, James Watson and Francis Crick, finally pieced the whole puzzle together, revealing that double helix structure and basically kicking off the modern age of genetics. So there you have it, from the cell to the chromosome to the twisted ladder carrying the four-letter code of life. It is the blueprint for almost every living thing on this planet. Which, of course, leaves us with one heck of a question. What happens next, now that a species has finally learned how to read its own code?